this theater.
Welcome back to the Drive-In Asylum late movie. We just got finished watching Escape from the Bronx. Originally released in 1983, it made it to the States in 85. Oh, wait, Sam. Sorry, I had you muted.
Oh, what'd you think? This is your first time watching.
I fucking love this movie. It was as good as Endgame, in my opinion. The only thing I could say that's a little bit better about Endgame was the soundtrack to Endgame.
Yeah.
I know you said you were a fan of this movie soundtrack. It is good, but the music in Endgame sort of like it really stood out to me. But
it's got a great soundtrack.
The Endgame has nothing on this movie in terms of the body count.
Oh my gosh.
Who wasn't dead by the end? It was like a fucking Shakespeare experience.
Mike Justice is right. Moon Gray mentioned maybe more than 10 times that she was born in the Bronx.
And she didn't sound a damn like she came from the Bronx. That was definitely somebody faking an accent.
Yeah, Trash's parents have a huge picture on the wall of him from the last movie, which is pretty awesome. Wow, super excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, next week's movies aren't regional U.S. splatter fix, believe it or not.
Yeah, we're doing 2 J-horror flicks next week. Sweet Home and Evil Dead Trap. And Matt Bussell from the Horrible Horror Show will be sitting in with us on that one. So make sure you come back. It will be a double feature next weekend, 8 p.m.
I took notes. One, just like the first movie, I love all the different gangs that live in the gang hideout, especially the Silver Gang, who all have, like, when they're running from the squad that's white with mouth, they all carry their canes with them. And their leader says to Trash in the beginning, she goes, "I still haven't got shot with you." And he's like, Also, if you notice, here's how you can tell this movie's Italian. Of all the important essentials that they have at the end of the world, there's a big cappuccino machine. And everybody's getting hot cappuccinos out of it. And as we saw, Felix Silva flips out about, he's so excited to drink that coffee. When he takes the first sip, he loses his fucking mind because there's sugar in it.
Henry Silva. Wasn't it Henry?
It's a little Henry Silva.
Henry Silva is amazing, isn't he?
He's really good in this. And I like whenever his one line where he goes, "You're worse than all of them." He goes, "Correction. Nobody's worse than me."
I love him in Alligator.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite movie that has Henry Silva in it, although he was in so many.
Yeah. He's still alive, too.
Yeah. I noticed that. I looked him up. I was like, wow. All right. The world's better.
I don't know if you guys noticed the guy in the beginning with the mustache that's giving orders to everybody is the director of the bad guys. He was like
Enzo
speaking over the headset with
Castellari.
them.
I love his
Yeah,
mustache.
yeah.
I have mustache envy for Enzo Castellari.
And then the other thing that really struck me in this is I know that they're made very far apart, but there's a lot of Total Recall in this with the idea of like, there's all the signs about going to Mars and Total Recall and leaving behind Earth. And here we got great places for you in New Mexico. And of course, it's like a roach motel. When you go to New Mexico, you get killed. Do you know what I mean? Like they just want to get rid of these undesirables.
Yeah, I was really sort of you know, uncomfortable with that whole thing. I was like, ooh, this, surely back then it seemed a lot more outrageous than it does now. So
This movie suddenly feels more real every day.
yeah.
Also, if you're counting problematic things in this movie, Trash's jacket has a Confederate flag on it, and there's a lot of SS symbols, and then a lot of the good guys kind of have full SS. I mean, who are the good guys? You know?
They were just full of bold statements, these people. And they stayed so true to their wardrobe.
Yeah.
Um the one woman that wore a fur, and
Oh, Mona Posey. Yeah.
yeah, she was really tough and she took no shit, but she did her hair every day, even in this post-apocalyptic Bronx. And
Yeah.
I was sad when they took her out.
Matt asked who's the better lead in this, Trash or Parsifal from after the Fall of New York, and I have to go with Trash. Trash is my favorite post-apocalyptic hero, except in After the Fall of New York, George Eastman plays a big ape, a reverse-engineered monkey, uh, who just likes to sexually assault people. It's again Italian movies in the '80s. You're going to be offended. Also, how Trash's gun is amazing. Yeah, his gun blew up a helicopter one shot.
How did that
It blew,
happen?
yeah. It's like in Batman whenever the Joker pulls out his gun and knocks down the Batwing, and you're just like, I don't buy this. Yeah, he just pulls out. He basically has a Saturday Night Special, a revolver, and he hits it, and it's like just explodes.
And that dummy body flew out of it.
Also, he got shot in the arm and just went like, literally wiped the blood off. Totally fine. Just creased him. He was totally
That's
fine.
how tough they are, you know.
I mean, they're from the Bronx. They're not going to get out. You can't make them leave. His parents wouldn't leave. Someone came with a flamethrower and said, "Get out," and his dad was like, "Fuck you." I mean, that's what this movie's about.
Trash
Also,
was a hell of a name. Everybody was.
yeah,
Even the little kid that threw the grenades from his perch, he didn't miss a damn thing.
that kid's aim is amazing.
And he had that cunning ability to set up tripwires and even be able to tell exactly when they were going to go off.
He took out so many people. This movie is just so much destruction. Also, you talked about Edward. You were talking about Everett Mannix, one of the voiceover guys. He did a ton of stuff, huh?
Yeah, the list of things that Edward Mannix was in goes on and on. I'll name just a few because I've been dying to. Um, he did English dubbing for many, many Italian films and foreign films. Deep Red, Strip Nude for Your Killer. I'm just skipping over things. I mean, there's so many things I could say, but I don't want to go on for 20 minutes. Hitchhike. Let's see. Zombie. He's in Zombie, Cannibal Holocaust, Zombie Holocaust, Contamination, Cannibals in the Streets, aka Cannibal Apocalypse. I think that one is called.
Yep,
With
with
John
John
Saxon.
Saxon. Yep.
Invasion of the Flesh Hunters in America, or
Yeah.
Cannibals in the Streets. House on the Edge of the Park. Hell of the Living Dead. Okay. Probably my least favorite Italian zombie movie. And I know that's almost sacrilegious to say.
I
Nightmare
know.
City,
It's okay.
Burial Ground, Cannibal Ferox, House by the Cemetery, The New York Ripper, Manhattan Baby, Pieces, 1990 Bronx Warriors, keeping it real. Um, and Your Hunter from the Future. And he also worked on Endgame. So there we go.
And he has one live action role. His live action role is he's the guy that presents Pia Zadora at the Lonely Lady. He's the one that brings her to the podium, which I say if you're in one movie where people see you.
Oh, The Church. He worked on The
Wow.
Church and also Die Hard 2.
Oh,
What
wow.
couldn't he do?
Everything. The other crazy thing is
Edward Mannix.
Biasco Garrado is the cinematographer for this movie. And I was noticing it. There's a lot of really wild shots in this where like you kind of see the troops running above and it moves through a floorboard. So it kind of creates this artificial thing where you're kind of seeing through reality. There's a lot of shots like that. So I was like, wow, I wonder what else he did. He did Cinema Paradiso, which is one of the best movies ever made. So what a wild, like literally the same year. He made this movie and Cinema Paradiso the same year. That's crazy. Movies are wild.
I loved how this movie sort of, I mean, it definitely was reaching a little higher than its budget,
Yeah.
but not all that much. I mean, it was obviously like not quite up to par, but I think there was really a lot of damn good choreography of those fight scenes. It
Yeah.
was a little too tight at times, if anything. But,
I always joke if you see somebody take a stunt in an Italian movie, they got hurt. They didn't
oh,
care if they got
they
hurt.
had to.
Like all those falls and
There
stuff.
had to have been so many people, and they all must have been, part-time ballet dancers too, because they were flying through the air.
You know how I know this is an Italian movie? When Antonio Sabato is walking through that section giving his speech in the beginning, he grabs a breadstick and just chomps down on it. I would do the same thing. If as an Italian, if I see a breadstick in the open, no matter what, I must grab it. I must eat it. So his costume's amazing, by the way. That's what I love about this movie is every gang member has their own unique. They're just like, what do you want to bring? You know, Trash is kind of Snake Plissken. He's got a
Yeah.
bike with a skull on it. And then, you know, the dad and the kid are kind of survivalists. Antonio Sabato's a survivalist. Moana Posey is fabulous. Her hair's done all the time. You know, it's really amazing. Yeah, I give Don the point. Hong Kong stunt people. I watched Police Story, and Jackie Chan hates glass because every single pane of glass in that movie gets broken with his face. There's one scene where it's just like astounding how much glass gets broken. Also, yeah, Noel brought up the budget for the model of the city of the future. If you're an executive and you have a giant city in your office, chances are you're evil. Like, there's no way you're good. You're up to something bad.
It's a very super villain thing to have hanging around.
Yeah, Tracy's right. It could have been a carrot, but when I see something, I think breadstick. I was thinking unlimited breadsticks at the Olive Garden and got real hungry. So
Don't get me
maybe
started. It's 2 a.m.
I would eat so many breadsticks. That's when Olive Garden should have unlimited breadsticks. At 2 a.m, it seems like the food's only good when you're drunk. When you're here, your family, drunk family.
I always ruin my dinner at the Olive Garden because I eat too many of those damn breadsticks. But then it just means you have more to take home and eat the next day.
Do you ever feel pressure when they ask you how much cheese you want on your salad? And you always want, you're like,
Should I tell them to keep going? Because I really want them to keep going, but
just keep going. Just go, like, all day.
or is it going to look bad if you don't tell them to stop? So
yeah, I have a whole bowl just of cheese. That's all it is, and then the pepper. Oh, I'm really glad we watched this. I want to see who dug it in the comments, but I really dug it. If you like this, Warriors of the Wasteland is more of this, but Fred Williamson dressed like a pirate, and his girlfriend has Freddy Krueger gloves. It's real good.
garden fresh vegetables and coffee. I remarked on that as well, but I was confused because it has the look of an apocalyptic film, which it is, but also right there in New York, life goes on as normal. So there were garden fresh vegetables to be had. I don't know how they got them in the burned out Bronx.
It's the same thing as Rats: The Night of Terror. They go in that room and there's all those vegetables, and they're like, "This isn't weird at all. Let's eat all this food."
Anything can happen when you're Rats Nights of Terror.
So yeah, Rats is like in Germany considered the third part. It's like 1203, and then then other people consider Warriors of the Wasteland the third one. But yeah, I really love the helicopters flying through New York, and I love the audacity of scenes where people are like, that those shots of them going underneath the city, lifting up those sewer grates and underneath. There were no permits for any of that stuff. Like there's pedestrians just walking by, and all those silver suited soldiers with flamethrowers are just walking into the sewers. Like what?
Thank you for bringing up the costume, that angle of the costume, about how they had these stormtrooper outfits. How
Yeah.
did anyone think it made any sense to go in there with such an obvious costume when there's going to be people in street garb shooting at you? Like,
I think it's really like a Vietnam allegory where, you know what I mean? Where they talked about that this was like the jungle and it's, not to bum you about current events. It's very
yeah,
kind of, kind of what's going on
no,
these days.
it's
Like,
fair. And
yeah.
it was really, I don't know, the reporter lady wore her biggest, brightest red scarf to this thing. And she didn't know
I
anything
like that
about
she talked
blending
about
in.
all the jobs that she had pulled off with Junior's dad. They robbed Macy's. That was their big job.
Yeah, there was no stopping
Uh,
her.
Also, what's his name? The boss, Silva of everybody. He has like a sauna suit on, pretty much. Like it's not even really a costume. He's like wearing a sauna suit for most of the movie.
Well, that's what it really was. You weren't supposed to think it was a sauna suit,
No, no, of
maybe.
course. I love that they did a press conference and they talked about it being they're going to put a children's hospital there, and that reporter just comes out. She's like, "First off, I was born. This is all fucking lies."
Yeah, she may not have been born in the Bronx for real. That
Yeah.
was one of my favorite shots in the whole movie, where he smashes the stormtrooper's
Oh,
head.
they're just all meat coming out of it.
Yeah, that was very
Yeah.
inspired. That's what
Yeah.
I loved most about this film, is it never stopped with those little gags. Like there would be, like, some fighting, and a lesser movie would have just been about, the fighting, which would have, but then there were these little jabs that he put in there with those little individual things. That was great.
That's what I like about it. It's like what Castellari is really good at is like the action. Like there's story, but the action does not stop. Like
Yeah,
it's a lot. So yeah,
it's a
yeah, I really
ride.
dig it.
I loved
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So yeah, very enjoyable. And yeah, check out the first one if you like. The first one's more about how the gangs finally came together and why the gangs are all fighting. Um, and you get Vic Morrow as Hammer in it, and he's born in the Bronx and he knows how the gangs think, so they bring him in to kill all the gangs. It's real good too. It's also on Tubi if you want to check it out, or buy the box set. There's a Blu-ray set that has all three of these movies, the Warriors of the Wasteland, all in one set. And man, I watch it about once a month. I love it. I'm really glad to share these with you, Bill. Because like you said, you haven't watched a lot of these. Like I love these movies because they're very much they're a lot of the same cast and crew as the Italian horrors, but they're great junk food movies. Like they're just so enjoyable.
Yeah, I agree. It's it's always interesting to see somebody's vision of it when they knew they weren't going to be able to make something that was super high budget. It's
Yeah,
interesting to see a filmmaker working within a low budget to pull something like this up, because there was a lot of, that where did they film those scenes inside the burned out buildings? That's what I want to know. That
there's some of those same backgrounds show up in the first movie too. So I'm wondering if that was like one of those, like how they had the Italian Western towns that they built for the Westerns,
mhm.
where they had like a kind of like a World War II set for other movies.
Okay. Yeah, because it was amazing. It was just like, thing after thing after thing that looked like nothing. It was just like
Yeah.
a warehouse encased in ragtag pieces of concrete, and there was your set.
Yeah, that was Lola jumping down.
Oh, I thought there was an earthquake.
No, it was Lola jumping from the ceiling to the ground. But yeah, and I really love
You're
the seam.
disappearing, Sam.
Oh, sorry. There's a seamlessness too. Like, except you mentioned like how some of the columns look, but you have to consider half this movie's shot in New York and half it's shot in Italy, and these kind of got put together, and I really dig that a lot.
Thank you, Gene. Gene from the Super Drive-In Monsterama. And I already plugged the shirt in the first segment. You go to the drive-ins. I think the crawler is still up. We can put it up there. And there we go. Well, this is the name of the Facebook page. So just go there and you can order this fabulous April Ghouls Monsterama t-shirt that I'm wearing tonight. And well, I'm never going to get this camera thing right, but it is, of course, the Ghoul from Midnight. And it takes place at the Riverside Drive-In in Vandergrift, PA. Ooh, this feels funny. And it's at the end of the month. So if you're in the area, it's well worth the trip. There's going to be 8 fabulous movies, which are, Sam, can you tell us all of them?
Oh, let me see if I can do it. Halloween. First night is Halloween 2, Terror Train, Effects, and Midnight.
Correct.
Second night is Evil Dead 2, Dr. Butcher MD, Zombie 3, and Reanimator.
Yes.
Out of order. Reanimator second.
Yeah, and Zombie 3's last on Saturday.
Yes.
But
I can't wait.
We were talking about
movies that. Go ahead, sir.
We were talking about things in the first segment that we were most excited to see there, and another one of mine is Effects. But I've already ranted many, many times on the show about Effects, so I won't go off on it again. What were you going to say? We
also met another movie that played at the Drive-In Monsterama was Trick or Treat, and Trash looks a lot like Sammy Kerr from Trick or Treat. They could be like brothers in different countries.
He was a little Steven Tyler, a little bit Stephen Piercy from Rat.
Yeah, he's but I love his gun shooting skills are amazing. I want to figure out the caliber of his bullets and whatnot. So
yeah,
but he's really good. If you enjoyed Mark Gregory in this movie, I'd recommend all 3 Thunder movies. They're very Rambo movies, but with him in it. He's a Native American that was a Vietnam vet. The first one is literally First Blood. The second one, it's a little different because he becomes a cop on the same force that abused him in the first movie. And then he gets set up, and then he goes crazy on him again. And then the third movie is wild, where he gets all of the Native Americans off a reservation, all in face paint, and they attack a city. They're all super. I would say super quality. They're not any quality at all, but they're my kind of movies. So if you like this kind of lunacy, all 3 Thunder Warrior movies are very good. And Adam Eve versus the Cannibals too is real good too.
Which one?
Adam and Eve versus the Cannibals. I like War Bus Commando. He only made like 9 movies. I like all 9 of them equally. I think they're all pretty rad. So I really wish he had made more movies, but he didn't. So it's sad. I know Castellari had tried to find him for a long time. Like there was even a fan group. There's been conventions for the Bronx Warrior movies in the UK. There's one fan over there that's like a huge fan of these movies, and he actually had a pretty big convention. So yeah. Tracy asked, will there be things to do at the drive-in during the dance Saturday? No, but there's a lot of stuff to do in the area. And generally, you can get there, like 4 or 4:30 or 5. And, there's a lot of people hanging out. And there are booths around now. They've had, like Time Bomb Toys is there. And, and inside there's DVD sellers. The food, you can buy food before. But there's a lot to do in Pittsburgh. Obviously, you can go to Monroeville Mall and see where, Dawn of the Dead was made. There's a lot of used DVD stores there. There's a lot of cool stuff to do. Let me know if you're going. I'll give you a list of cool stuff to get, places to go and stuff. There's a really good restaurant called G&G in the same town too that has really good breakfast food and all sorts of food. It's really good, and
G and
you can
G.
always G&G. Yeah, it's in Vandergrift, and it's really good. Or you can just go to the Honey Bear and eat black pepper. That's what I recommend.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that for yourself.
They frown on that in the Honey Bear.
No, I really want to see if they have the videotapes. I would like to air those on the show. Me panicking in the Honey Bear. But yeah, I'm super excited. I started because I put in my days off, and then I started instantly getting like wildly excited about this. Matt asks, is the concession stand like Ruby?
Yes. It's exactly like Ruby, so take that however you will. Only they don't.
I would like an entire post-apocalyptic night of the drive-in. That would be pretty awesome. I would. It might be too much for my brain to handle. I might just shut down like
Yeah.
pure.
I started to get a weird effect at Giallapalooza where I felt like I was watching the same movie more than once.
Yeah.
Starting over because the plots were like not exactly the same, but they had major elements that were the same, and I'm like,
and then you got the lizard in the woman's skin. And you're like, this movie's not like anything.
Yeah, that's why I loved it, because it was so weird that it wasn't like the other ones.
That's why I love that movie, because they're like, hey, you know what? What if bats that were in a cave and we're like, what if we did that? And Fulci's like, yeah, okay.
I still have to go back and watch that again and like actually pay attention to what happens in it, because I was just so like,
I love every movie that got shown that weekend, but I would really recommend seeing that again because I really, really dig that.
I was overwhelmed by the visuals in the movie and just like the sheer weirdness and insanity. So
yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, I'm excited. The nice thing, there's a really great variety of movies this time. I mean, Becca's gonna make it through Halloween too, so see her and Cubby before Halloween too.
Yeah,
she'll be sleeping
by Terror Train. She'll be crashed.
She'll make it to like David Copperfield's first appearance in Terror Train, and then good night.
Killer Party was just on the movie, or what's TCM. It was just on TCM with Hell Night. It was Hell Night and Killer Party double feature. I think it was tonight.
And Gene, thank you for doing the weekend at Gallows. Like I really, that was the best weekend ever. So I was shocked as many people came and liked them. Even more shocked that there were 9-year-olds sitting next to me during some of them. But hey, you know what? I'm not a parent, so.
Yeah, that was. I don't think they were expecting that.
I did not realize a knife would be in someone's vagina in this movie. Apparently,
in the first like 5 seconds.
Becca said to me, she's like, "Is this gets a little lighter, doesn't it?" Jody Botto was the cinematographer for this movie. It does not get any lighter. Come on.
Oh, speaking of what if they done this? What have you done to Solange? There was another title that came up today. You know, that movie has so many titles.
Yeah,
it came out as the Rah Rah Girls, which is another weird one. Like, what in the fuck does that even mean? The Rah Rah Girls.
Were they trying to tie into like all the like Corman cheerleader stewardess kind of movies?
It was
that were coming up.
They sold it as a cheerleader sex comedy, if you can even believe that.
Well, there is a shower scene.
That's the only thing in the movie that anybody that went to see it under the title Rah Rah Girls would have been waiting to see, was that shower scene.
My favorite character in that movie is the girl that's smoking the cigarette in the shower scene. Like, one, she's in high school. Two, she's just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Right, hooking it up. That shower's huge. And, you know.
It was the one that I saw today, Gesundheit.
Thank you.
Somebody had posted it, and it was I can't remember who posted it. The title, I think it was the scene of Screen 13. A fabulous Facebook page that posts a lot of vintage newsprint ads. He posted, what have they done to Solange under the title Come Teach Me?
Oh, wow.
Come Teach Me, which totally made it into a sex film again. And also another couple titles were Foul Play,
Not with Goldie Hawn.
Blood Relations, and Terror in the Woods.
Wow, none of those titles work.
Yeah, but it sold the movie like 10 different ways. So Hallmark releasing, of course, the geniuses.
I was just looking up
Behind them.
titles that 21st Century Film Corporation used. They're also pretty king-like in that, where they would re-release stuff that came out, like 10 years ago and re-release it.
Amok was something else, Matthew. I think Amok later became Maniac Mansion or something like that. But anyway, go ahead.
21st Century had I was looking through some of the stuff that they re-released. Like they re-released The Bird with the Crystal Plumage as Phantom of Terror 12 years after it came out.
In 81.
That's crazy. Yeah. And they released The Mothers on a double bill with Group Marriage. Like those movies are from 73 and they released those in 81. Do you know what I mean? Like that's it blows my mind that these movies would come out and we've talked about before, but can you imagine you went and you're like, I know I saw this movie. Like the Tormented is Eerie Midnight Horror Show. It's just astounding. I love that.
Well, people didn't like it back then. That was,
and then 21st Century becomes Mannheim Golan's company after Canon. He bought them after Canon fell apart and started using them to distribute movies, which I'm sure it got even less scummy after he bought them. Right, Andy? You know it. Andy said, yes, tell me about Canon, Father.
There's my kitty. Hey, Andy. I miss you, Andy.
He said, come out, Bill. Come back.
I am going to come back.
Let's watch New Wave videos again and yeah. Noel said, how can you do it? You should sit with Bill and I while we're watching 5-second bursts of New Wave videos, yelling the names out to each other.
Oh yeah, Temple of Schlock, fabulous blog written by Chris Poggioli.
Yeah, I love that.
It's still online, and there's a Facebook page too. You'll find anything you find on there is going to be well worth your time. And you've probably read it already if you're watching this show.
The other 21st Century movie that I love is they put out Demon 6 E Profundus, the Black Cat in the U.S., the Luigi Cosi movie that is a remake of Suspiria and also about the making of Suspiria. Have you seen that, Bill?
Yes.
That movie's nuts. I love that movie. I'm just blown away by how nuts it is. By the way, I showed this before, but if you really like really weird movies from around the world, I really recommend this book because I discovered the Bollywood Evil Dead from this book, and it's real good. It's really neat how they broke it up where it's what movies are getting remade. It's got Mighty Peking Man, Last Shark, Aztec Mummy, The Turkish Flash Gordon, Robo Vampire, Robo War, Shocking Dark, Star Crash, Time of the Apes, 1990, The Bronx Warriors. There's really, and how these movies, why they came out, how copyright laws didn't impact them. There's some really cool stuff in it. So I'm already dog-earing it because I've reread it so many times.
I dug into a movie out of my watch pile a couple of days ago. I hardly ever actually sit down and enjoy these Blu-rays because I don't know. It's I'm always doing something and I never have time for it. But I had a little smoke sesh and got to know the Blu-ray for Yeti.
Oh yeah,
and it was I have to say it was a little underwhelming because there are no extras at all on the Blu-ray. It's literally not even a trailer.
Yeah,
it's literally
coming back out though. Kino's re-releasing the Code Red one in June.
Yeti.
Yeah.
Oh wow! See, I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have bought the one I bought.
Let me see if there's any extras on it. Hold on, because they just sent me a press release about it, and I was like, Yes. They've been pretty steady at putting out the Code Red stuff, which makes me happy. 'Cause there's some stuff that I definitely miss.
The print looks pretty good. I mean, I have to say that the print it wasn't as mind blowing as I hoped it would be, but it's probably the best Yeti we're ever gonna get. So,
Yeah,
and it definitely looks 100 times better than any of the video presentations, which have been like, dupes of a dupe of a dupe from another country.
it comes out in May, and also in May, Francis the Talking Mule box set. I know everybody here wants that.
Yeti. Sorry,
Yay.
Don, you're right. Yeti.
Violent City's coming out too. Oh, Without Warning, Bill is coming out in May as well on Blu-ray.
You're excited about that.
I'm bonkers, and Times Square, which I'm beyond excited.
I know. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have a total Sleaze Sisters party when Times Square comes out.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeti has remastered. It does have the trailer on it and subtitles, and that's it. Nothing extra. But it's remastered from the 35 millimeter negative. I assume it's the same look that the Code Red one had.
Yeti is way hotter than Mr. Alphonse from Alice, Sweet Alice, but I have to say I love Mr. Alphonse's dirty wife beater. That's always a huge turn on. So he had that going for him, but he was too disgustingly gross.
The real human being, supposedly just as gross, he would dress as a priest and charge people money to do blessings in a cemetery on Sundays. Pretty wild.
I don't trust anyone who eats cat food.
No. Other than cats. You should.
Yeah, anyone that isn't a cat.
Yeah. Andy's like, come on, Bill. I thought we were friends here.
I didn't mean you.
I eat a lot of cat food. What if I named Andy Mr. Alphonse? People are like, where'd you get that name? And I'm like, have you ever seen Alice, Sweet Alice? And they'd be like, no. And I'd say, it's also called Communion. Maybe you've heard of it.
It's also called The Mask Murders.
Yeah. Get Crazy in Times Square is a great combo. I'm really Kino is like secretly puts out movies like Get Crazy was never coming out. Times Square was never coming out. And it's nuts that like it's not Arrow putting it out. It's not, a major label putting out. It's Kino. That's really cool. Plus their Kino Cult channel is awesome. There's a lot of I just watched Bill Black Magic Rights on that, and I'd never seen that. Have you seen that movie?
What is it?
Black Magic Rights.
No.
It's from '68. It's got Mickey Hargitay in it. It's about a witch that gets killed in a castle like 300 years ago, and then in the future they're trying to bring her back by. This movie makes absolutely no sense. By bringing her back by having orgies. So it's like every 10 minutes something new happens in the movie. Like either there's a new sex scene or someone's getting killed or someone's getting sacrificed. None of it adds up. It's awesome. It's really, really good.
That's pretty accurate, Don.
Yeah. Also, Yeti or Yeti or whatever you want to refer to him as. Yeti. He has merch right away. We've talked about it before, but people are like, can't wait. It's like Beatlemania.
Yeah.
People are really into him. They love the idea of him.
These are people that haven't even seen Yeti yet.
And I heard that he makes a comb out of a fish and he combs a girl's hair with it. I've heard he does great things for people.
I heard he can bring a stabbed collie back to life.
I was just gonna say he has magical powers.
So
I heard he's a Bigfoot that disappears whenever he
I heard he's a magical being that you can corner him on top of a mountain and then send him off to mountains that are suddenly right behind him, as if you weren't already on top of a mountain at the end.
I love the plan of Bigfoot. Like, let's take him as high up as we can. As high up as we can, and his heart will suddenly start and he'll wake up. These are doctors.
Well, he came from the mountains, and I guess, the altitude was what they were trying to simulate. But they also decide that when he first makes his debut in civilization, they have to fly him on top of a skyscraper. And, of course, he's swarmed with reporters who have their flash bulbs engaged, even though it's broad daylight and the flash isn't going to do anything. anyway.
Do you think they put signs up that were like no flash photography?
Yeah. It's like, not only are we going to use flash photography in defiance of your sign, we're going to use it even though it doesn't do anything for the photos we're taking.
I can't remember who it was. It's nobody here, but like one of my friends on Twitter went and saw X in the theater, and there were only 2 people in the theater because it was like an 11 a.m. show. So he decided to take a picture of the other guy in the theater, but didn't realize his flash was on. So the picture he posted is like a guy like this, like in full flash, like covering his face. And he's like, "Oh, no flash photography in the theater, please."
I hate when that happens. You're trying to get a stealth photo of somebody and the flash goes off.
Yeah, that's in the theater. Wow.
Or how about this? Has your flash ever gone off and you weren't taking a stealth photo of someone, but you knew that they thought you were?
Oh no! Wow, no, that's even more.
That's happened to me too. Like I've legitimately been doing something with my camera and it flashed at somebody, and I really wasn't taking their picture, but they thought I was.
Oh man, that's a meet cute though. You can turn it into something. Be like, hey.
So far, it hasn't worked out that way for me.
No, it hasn't. Hey, you know what else is coming out? The werewolf box set we talked about is finally coming out.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Remind us what's in it.
It's the whole series, right? The werewolf, the Fox show.
Oh, okay. All right. The TV show Werewolf. I got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's in it? The episodes of the TV show.
I almost bought the bootleg of it at the show yesterday. There was one table that had stuff in it, and I was like, do I need it? And you know,
I hate that pressure.
Yeah.
Being confronted with it. I don't.
Yeah, really. That's the thing, is like when you go to like a I should have gone to Cinema Wasteland instead. Like, but when you go to a just a regular convention, you're like, I spent all this money to get in. Maybe I should get something, and I didn't get anything. Though I did see Bill a Cher doll in package, perfectly preserved.
Wow.
Yeah, there's one booth that had a Murder She Wrote board game.
Why are you telling me about a Cher doll?
I think you would enjoy a Cher doll.
I'm not a fan of Cher.
Huh?
I'm not a Cher fan.
I thought you were a Cher fan.
Well, I mean, I don't hate her or anything, but I'm not going to.
But I'm just saying, like, how cool is it to see that in package? I thought you liked her for some reason.
No, I mean, I know that a lot of gay dudes worship.
I wasn't saying it like that.
Oh, that's totally how you meant it.
No, it's not how I meant it. I know that you're not.
It's fine if you like Cher. I'm really not into her.
I honestly thought you did, though. That's why I brought it.
I mean, I like her disco stuff. Because
this was a disco era doll.
Hell on Wheels. She's a roller disco mama.
Well, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be problematic.
That's what's problematic, is when you're not trying.
Yeah, maybe you should try better. Andy, fix it. Fix it, Andy.
Andy, I love you.
Yeah. He's like, you got to come back out, Bill. We'll hang.
I totally have to come see you again, Andy.
He's like, we had a good time. Come out. We'll watch some TV movies together. Whatever it takes. There's by the way, in the Kino sale, there's a lot of
Cher fans unite.
Yeah, boy, that was kind of like our Siskel and Ebert moment there for a second.
About Cher, of all things. I
really thought that you dug her, and it wasn't. Again, I'm sorry.
I know. I'm only kidding you. Jeez.
Okay.
I do like Mask. I like her in Mask. I think she's really good.
The one with the truck that turned into a jet?
Yes.
That's my Mask. All right.
The very one. Where Sam Elliott offers all the hot ladies mustache rides. That Mask.
Yeah. You know what I did see yesterday was a two things I almost bought was a Death Wish vinyl. I really debated getting that, and a box of Bo Derek trading cards, the Here's Bo cards.
You posted a picture of it, and I went nuts.
Why did they make those? Who wanted it? Like, they were for kids, like, right? like adults don't make, you know, like who wants it? They also had a box of trading cards, Bill, that was and I don't know if I send you a picture of the 70s detective trading cards.
Oh, I've seen those before, so it must have been you.
Yeah, it was literally like neon pictures of Cannon, McCloud, and Kojak, but they were like cartoony versions of
Yes.
them.
Oh my
Oh
god, those
man,
were amazing. Was there bubble gum in the Bo Derek cards?
there was bubblegum, and it said for kids because kids care about this. Shot by John Derek.
Right.
Photos by John Derek. They're like, cool. I'm a 14-year-old kid. I'm more, and he usually dates 14-year-olds. So please sell
I'm
me
gonna
John Derek.
sell, I'm gonna sell sexy photos of my wife to young children
And they were bigger. They were like this big. Why didn't I buy them? They were
that I
$2 a
took.
pack. Because Becca would have been like, "Why do you need these Bo Derek cards? Because you have gone on record saying that you're not into her at all." And I was like, "I know, I have.
Oh, that's not the
I hate
point. I would still
no."
get the Bo Derek cards,
Now, were they Pia Zadora cards? Yes.
of course.
Were they Adventures of the Rock Aliens trading cards? I would buy those in a minute.
Oh my god, I saw one of those Farrah Fawcett styling head things in a thrift store, but it had been
Really?
defaced by whoever owned it.
Yeah.
Like they cut all her hair off, and she looked like she was on meth.
Man, you know what? I'm so glad we went to the Steel City Con last night though, because it was crushed last night, and I'm like, and half the celebrities weren't there yet. And I was like, when Chevy Chase gets here and acts like a jerk, it's going to be real bad for people. It's going to not be fun to be here. So yeah. Also, it's weird that like there was somebody selling papyrus there, like sheets of paper, like papyrus. There are two different booths selling papyrus. Why anybody would want to buy this, I don't know. And they had like hieroglyphics painted on them. And then there was a dude dressed like Indiana Jones buying them from there. So of course my brother yelled, "Hey Indy, those are all fake." The lady came around the booth and started screaming at Noah and told him, "These aren't fake. These are really from Egypt." So, and then I stole Indiana Jones's piece of papyrus and I said, "Dr. Jones, there is no thing that you acquire that I cannot possess." And I was dressed like Belloc, but that's a really deep cut Indiana Jones line. But yeah, there's a lot of cool. I mean, I like looking at board games and stuff, but they're all so expensive, and it's like, you know, what can you do?
Like, what board games did you want that were expensive?
They had the Indiana Jones one that Stranko did the art for, and it was like $50. And I'm like, and I had it when I was a kid. Do I really need it now? The last time when we went to the one toy show that's in Munhall, that's where I got that amazing the mall game that has all the real mall stores in it. I got that for like $15, so that's not bad. But of course, like Becca was like dying because like she had almost every game on this one table, but they were all like way out of our price range.
Did you have that game when you were a kid, that board game called Superstition?
No, what's
Do you
that?
remember what it was? It was it was a board game with, I think there were cards too that told you like how to move on the board, but
Oh,
there were these plastic things you had to set up with rubber bands and everything. It was kind of elaborate, and
huh.
sometimes you would come upon a superstition like a broken mirror, and there would be like a hand with a hammer, and there were two pins, and you had to pull out one of the pins, and one pin would make the hammer smash the mirror.
Oh
But
wow.
it was kinda like a Jenga.
I've
It
never
was like
seen
a
it.
Jenga moment, like, you had to, like, do it without triggering the
I liked that a lot of these old games are coming out at Target now as like redone versions, like Fireball Island and stuff are kind of getting redone.
yeah.
Matt asked in the side too. Am I interested in the Out of the Blue release? I got to see the 4K of Out of the Blue when it aired at a couple of film festivals, and it got sent to me, and it's great. I love that movie. I love Dennis Hopper, so that's you know pre him coming back and stuff. But I would definitely buy if you're into Dennis Hopper. I definitely would buy the Severin one. I'm debating getting it, but eventually, I still got a Severin gift card from their magical. Who could guess that Black Friday website didn't work day, and they
Wow.
gave everybody a gift card. I'll bet you now that Black Friday this year it doesn't work, and I bet the halfway to Black Friday sale with Vinegar Syndrome completely does work with no issues.
I
Oh, you know what else I saw, Bill, that you would want? An Alien model kit from the original release. It was about this big, and it was just a figure kit of the Xenomorph.
wow, a model kit.
Yeah, I've never seen it before. It was like a monogram one. I didn't even know that they ever came out.
Wow. Yeah, there
Yeah,
was I mean, of course there was the Alien action figure, which I had one when I was
but this was like a 5.5 inch tall model kit of the Xenomorph, and I'd never seen that before.
there was other Alien merch too that I don't know if you're
Mm.
aware of. Do you remember the Alien Target game?
Yeah, I have the biplane fighter target game that they based it on because they used the same tech for that. Yes.
Yeah. Well, there was that, and there was also one of those movie things where you could watch
Yeah.
a 60-second version of Alien,
Wow.
and you can watch it on YouTube. The actual thing that was inside that thing. It was one of those like hand cranked movie things you would look through the viewfinder and watch it. Um, but there's actually frames of the movie that aren't in the finished film.
Oh
In that,
wow.
like the scene, they show the part where the alien is in the vent with Dallas, and you can see it
Oh wow.
behind him even before he turns and confronts it. Like there's it's like a different angle, and you can see the creature behind him.
They had what else did I see that was pretty well? Uh, there's just so like this one booth near the end always has like a ton of like late '70s, early '80s movie toys. You
Yeah,
know, so there was some really cool stuff there. A lot of Planet of the Apes stuff. You know, oh, you know what else I had is remember the ship in a bottle kits that like they
yeah.
did Planet of the Apes ones. They had the Jaws kit, but it was like 250. I'm like a little out of my range, right?
Here's that game Superstition. I found a picture of
Oh,
it.
I've never played. It's kind of mousetrappy.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that was what I was reaching for, was like a
Yeah,
mousetrap type thing. It was a lot of fun though. I remember it quite
I have
well.
The Kreskin game, two different Kreskin board games, because I collect amazing Kreskin stuff. Because I don't ever want to appear that I can get laid. But I have the ESP Kreskin game, and I have another one that has like a pendulum that swings over and like knocks cards, and you have to guess where it's going to hit and where it won't hit. So those are, and I have the Perry Mason board game too, which is pretty rad. The TSR, the people who made Dungeons and Dragons, put out a Perry Mason board game for some reason, and it's
Right on.
got painted artwork on it. I got it for like $10. So I'm all for like more weird board games like that coming out. Did you see Fright Rags put out a My Buddy Valentine game?
No, I had no idea.
Yeah, they did a Kickstarter for it. It looks really cool. It comes in like a video box. No, Brett Halsey was not at this convention. It was there's hardly any horror movie stars other than Robert Englund was there. But Jeff, I had the Jaws game too. There's an alligator game
Yeah, I was gonna
too.
say, like, I didn't even know about that until recently, that there was an alligator game just like it. I had Jaws also.
If you see, Kenner did in one of their Toy Fair catalogs, they had a game of the car too to take this way back to the beginning.
Yep.
And the car game never came out. And God damn it, if that came out, I would spend so much money on it.
Yeah, it was kind of like the same thing. Like you set up all this trash, and it was like a um thing like Jaws, where eventually the car would come screaming at you and hit all the garbage.
Yeah, I love the Jaws game though because like it had a game. Like, that's the same as Mousetrap, right? You set up all that stuff, and it's like, does anyone really play the game itself, or do they just knock it around and play with it? Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem like
Eventually, it
the
just comes
physical
down
action.
to you taking things out of the shark's mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we did when I was a kid. Like, just you know, see who could take the most out of the shark's mouth. But I definitely had the Jaws game. What I love any R-rated movies that have kid based. So like Alien. When Aliens came out, there was an Aliens cartoon that got pitched and they even did a half-an-hour episode, and it was completely produced, and it never got picked up by networks. But that's where like all the Alien toys that came out at that time that Kenner put out, they were all based off that future product. Where all the characters from aliens that got killed, like Vasquez and stuff, were all in the cartoon. So I would have loved that.
There was even, in addition to the alien toys, there was a puzzle that I had that came inside an alien egg.
Oh wow!
It was,
I love that.
yeah, it was pretty amazing. But I didn't like that all that much because when it was assembled, the view of the xenomorph head was from head on, and you couldn't see that it was long behind it, and it just looked like a skull. So I don't know. I wasn't as impressed with that.
That's why I love Kinder Trauma, because he makes up all the games that never came out.
Yeah. God, yeah.
Like I love those totes in the lunchboxes and stuff. I love those. But yeah, like if the car had come out, could you imagine? Like, oh, lost Bill here for a second. There he is.
What happened?
I don't know. It disappeared. Your side of the videotape was rewinding. We had to get the auto rewinder out.
Never fear. We came right back.
Didn't you feel cool if you had an auto rewinder? You didn't even have to use your VCR anymore. You just put it in the rewinder.
Oh, did it look like a car?
Mine did. Mine was just a rewinder. I didn't have a car one.
I had one that looked like a car.
Oh.
I bought it at the junk store, though. I didn't have one when it came out, but I found one at the junk store for a couple bucks.
Oh, man. The red, white, and blue?
Yes, the very one.
Yeah, I know your spots.
Anything else we should talk about before we sign off for the evening?
What are we doing next week? We're doing 2 J horror movies next week. I'll be here for the second movie. I'm not supposed to, I'm doing a run-in, but I'm showing up for a new wrestling company next week. Not that anybody would spill the beans on that. But yeah. And then I'll be back for the second movie.
Yes.
So pretty excited.
Which will be, first film is Sweet Home. Second movie,
Mm-hmm. Evil Dead Trap.
Evil Dead Trap.
There's 3 Evil Dead Traps. All 3 are real good. They're all wildly different, but I really like them all. So I'm excited to watch those. And it's kind of cool. We're kind of breaking out of stuff. And then what we're doing, one movie the week after that, right?
I can't remember. I have to look at the schedule.
Yeah, and then we're off for the.
No, we've got 2 doubles. We have 2 doubles for the rest of April. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is like the last.
And then we'll be off the week of the drive-in.
Yeah, and then in the first weekend in May, special guest Sean Midas will be on with us, and we'll be watching 2 far out folk horror films. And
I'm really excited about that.
Don't worry, they're not too deep in the.
I'm gonna get thrown inside a bear. Someone's gonna set me on fire.
Yeah,
it's gonna be cool.
Things could happen on that show.
Yeah. So
make sure you stay tuned for.
Like how Fright Rags does shirts and stuff, Bill. We got to get into the market of making stuff like the car game and the alligator game, like Leif brought up, and we just start selling those.
Did you see Leif's alligator board game?
I just saw his thing about it. That's amazing.
He posted the link in the chat. You should definitely go look at it because I saw it and I was extremely jealous. Leif is the coolest dad ever. Make an alligator board game for his kid.
I'm going to make a Phantasm game for kids where the unlucky kid gets hit in the head with the ball. Just like a ball that swings back and forth. Oh, man, zombie movies for Holy Week. Or vampire movies. Who can say it, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's next weekend is Easter.
Oh.
That's sort of like our Easter offering to you all.
Yeah.
Well,
it'll be fun.
Evil Dead Trap isn't a zombie movie. Sweet Home is.
It goes places, though. It really goes.
Yeah, places. And you won't believe the places that it goes. Trust me. In the great tradition of Japanese horror films, it starts out as one thing, and by the end of the movie, you don't know what movie you started watching.
Thanks everybody for coming out this week, and I know this is a little different than we usually show horror and stuff, so I'm glad everybody got into the spirit of post-apocalyptic stuff. So pretty exciting, and I love this video tape background. I love it.
Somebody said they liked it earlier. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
I always
I think if you look at this tape has all the commercials and has like 3 movies that were taped up TV on it.
Did you like our one in the first one too? Here, I'll put that one
I
back on
loved it.
before we
Yeah.
go off. It's like our video bars background and our VHS tapes.
Gene just sent us a message from the year 1999.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
I hate when people send me dream messages.
I love this one. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm excited for next week. And on the site this week, I'm still doing my April movie-thon. So can I tell you what categories are coming up this
of
week? Before we go,
course,
Bill?
yeah, you didn't yet, so I'm waiting for it.
All right, let me load it up because I remember the 11th because 11 is a magic number and that's Aleister Crowley influenced movie. So the Black Cat is one of them, and the Chemical Wedding, the movie by Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden, and a lot of Kenneth Anger movies that day. Tomorrow is Steven Seagal versus Max von Sydow, a fight that has never happened before because it's both their birthdays. So either Max von Sydow or Steven Seagal movies. The 12th is 412 Day. Get it? April 12th. It's all Pittsburgh-made movies. The 13th is Evil Plants because it's Planet Tree Day. The 14th is Italian Horror. The 15th is religious movies. And The Robe will be one, and Vendetta, which will be another one, the new movie I just watched on Hulu. And then the 16th is movies with a female lead. Bill, I watched a movie on Shudder. You'll like Sweet Lonely Girl. I don't know if you've seen it yet. I would definitely compare it to House of the Devil for its look. It really gets this 70s film stuff down really well. It's about a girl taking care of a sick relative, be a ghost or a vampire, and it moves super slow, and it's real good. I really like it.
I love House of the Devil. I want to go live in that world.
Oh,
and I want Dee Wallace to be my landlady.
Yeah. Yeah, Matt, I'm glad someone else is on a Kenneth Anger kick. I years ago bought the box set, and in exchange, shockingly, they had it. And I watched like 10 Kenneth Anger movies in 2 days, and some guy came to fix my washer, and Inauguration of My Demon Brother was playing, and like, wow, I can't wait to go into your basement and fix something. What's going on down there?
They did come out, didn't they?
I had a great day the other day because on one TV I was playing Strip to Kill, and then the other TV I was playing Kenneth Anger movies, and I thought I've reached peak scum. I really have reached like the limit of movie loving. So Strip to Kill is awesome, by the way. If you guys haven't seen it, I love that movie.
Cat Shay.
And she did Poison Ivy, and I'm like, I really like her movies, and I'm like, ah, shit, she made The Rage Carrie too.
It was a gig.
Can't win them all.
Whatever.
It's a yeah. You know what? It's funny. I just heard the Canon guy say that about it because like when they were in film school, they saw a couple of the guys from the state make like episodes of Dawson's Creek, and like, how could they sell out? And they're like, oh, once you start working in movies, you're like, yeah, it's a gig. Like let's just get paid for it.
I hate that kind of stuff. Like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. There's a lot of that in wrestling now where people are like, oh, that guy sold out. I'm like, yeah, because he wanted to make more money for his family because he's got like 3 kids.
Yeah.
It's really selling out. And your body only lasts so long. So
I'm doing it for the art, man.
Yeah. There are people that do it. You know what? If that's what you want to do, cool. But like,
well, you should never stop doing that. Like if that's what you're about. But I mean, like you have to think about working too,
Yeah. It's the same as advertising, right? Where it's like sometimes we're making commerce and sometimes you're making art, and you have to figure out how can I do both and satisfy my soul while also realizing that what the Buzz from the Melvins say, your street cred doesn't pay your mortgage, right?
Yeah.
So you got to figure out how to do it the right way, and keep your edge. But yeah, it's hard. Growing up ain't no fun. Try to be a kid. Keep watching movies all day if you can. Oh, look at this! The backgrounds keep changing and getting better. This is wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I put a BNS about movies thing up while we were talking.
Oh, thank you.
There's also one.
Yeah, come to the site. And if anybody wants to write stuff with the themes, that would be awesome because I'm usually like 2 or 3 weeks ahead. I'm like a day ahead. I've been like so behind this week. And my plan today was to catch up on stuff. And obviously today didn't work out too well. But I will be writing all night after this. I look tired now. Wait till you see me in 3 hours and I'm still writing stuff.
I'm going straight to bed right after this.
Someone's got to write about Kenneth Anger movies all night. Let's make it be me.
Well, I got to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what to watch next.
Oh my God. You are a glutton for punishment.
Yeah, I think I'm going to watch. I'm finishing my Pittsburgh movie, so maybe I'll watch Midnight 2 and let you guys know how it is.
Please do, and write all about it on your website, BNS.
It'll be up on the 12th, Midnight 2. It's called, it's got a title after, like Sex, Lies, and Gore or something like that. It's not going to be good. I mean, it might. Who knows? I like John Russo movies. I don't know why. How about last thing?
Okay.
How about that William Huntsman movie came out from Vinegar Syndrome?
The Bill Heinzman's Flesh Eater.
Yeah. How about that on UHD?
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck does this happen? How does that happen?
I really want to see the majorettes in a presentation like that. I'm hoping that.
Yes.
Because I don't know, wasn't it? Didn't you say John Russo said he didn't like that movie?
He does not like that movie. He said there's a lot that didn't make it into it. He had to keep asking for more money to shoot scenes, and he's still not happy with what finally came out of it. So here's hoping that he does. It's funny because he didn't even know Midnight came out from Severin, because he was like, oh yeah, there isn't really good quality copy of this of it. I'm like, 2 tables over, they're selling it up.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, yeah, oh okay. You should go ask them for one because you did it. They'll probably give it to you.
Thanks for hanging out with us on the Drive-In Asylum late movie. Double feature.
Thanks for taking my crappy hit back.
We'll see you next weekend. Come back Saturday, 8 p.m. with Matt Bustle from the Horrible Horror. Good night.